This is why you need to set your goals weekly. We all love to get to January 1st and set a lot of goals and we're so motivated, and then by January 2nd we completely forget about all of them and never achieve them. This is just not it. Like, what are we doing? I'm going to explain to you why you need to set your goals weekly, why you need to plan your goals in order to achieve them. Because when you plan them, or not even plan them, just set them for like a whole year or for like 6 months or whatever, you just forget about them. And I'm going to tell you why you do that, why we all sign up for the gym the first day in January and then by February we'll never sing ever again at the gym. When you set a goal for a whole year, let's say you want to run a marathon, there's a marathon going on in December, and January 1st you're like, okay, I will run that marathon, that's a goal of mine this year. And then you're like, okay, but how am I going to do it? Like, no one plans that. They're just, December I would run the marathon, but like it's January now. It feels really far because it is. Like, first of all, for the most part you don't need 12 months to prepare for a marathon. If you've never run before, then yes, I guess you need those 12 months, because the first few months you're just going to start running and just knowing how to run and how your body reacts to running. But also sometimes we just change our minds, in the sense that you set a goal and then you realize that you don't really want it. Everyone thinks they should run a marathon, everyone thinks they should write a book, and then when they start doing it, they're like, I don't actually want to do this. Your goals are already set for the year, and then by the next week or the next month you realize that's not what you want to do. But even if you do want to do it, it's January, you see December so far that you're not going to start right away. You're going to be like, oh, I'll just run this week like one day, and maybe the next week when I have time I will run, and then just whatever, and you just leave it. You procrastinate because you have the time to procrastinate. You are kind of allowed to procrastinate because yes, you're not going to run the marathon yet. You have so much time left that you don't need to think about it yet. But if you don't think about it January 1st or January 2nd, by July you've completely forgot about it and you're not going to do it. You could set a goal for 3 months. For instance, let's stick to running. You say, okay, I want to run a marathon on December, so I will run a 10k maybe on like April, and you have kind of like 3-4 months to prepare for it. But it feels really far in the future. And again, when you set your goals so far away, you just don't plan them, because you feel like you have so much time to do it that you don't really set a step-by-step plan for it. You're just like, I'll figure it out with time. And time does help to figure out things, but not everything. Sometimes you need to write things down and plan them. And so if you're just like, oh, in 3 months I'll run 10k, that's easy, right? Like 10k is nothing, I will be able to do it, and you just don't plan for it. But also, if you plan so far away in the future, you can't adjust if you need to. Let's say you just start running every once in a while and it's very disorganized, but it's like, oh, it's just a 10k, I'll be able to do it, whatever. And then by February you get injured, or you go on a vacation and there's like 1 week, 2 weeks you cannot run at all. You didn't prepare for that. You wasn't prepared for an inconvenience that's going to stop your progress. And then you're going to start again on March, like March 1st, and you're like, now what? I was just running once a week when I had the time, and now maybe I'm more tired because I was on vacation and I gained weight, or maybe I got injured, or I have to get surgery or whatever, so now I have to be careful with that. And now I don't know how to do it because I just have 1 month left. I wasn't prepared enough at this point, and now the small progress that I did is lost. If instead of saying I'm going to run a 10k in March or in April, you can say that, you can set that goal. You need to say what I'm going to do this week in order to get there. It's easier to plan for a week because first of all, you can picture a week. You cannot picture 3 months. You're at some point, it's like you have that calendar in your head and you're trying to envision it, but there are so many days and so many variables. Like, I can tell you that tomorrow is Monday the 25th. Yes, I know what I have to do this week, so I can plan a around the things that I already have to do. If I want to start running, I would be like, okay, this week I'll go Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and I'll try to run for 20 minutes, and maybe Saturday I try to run 30 minutes. If I do that, next week I can start being like, okay, I'll run 30 minutes this week, and then the next week I'll start running 40, and you just progress very slowly, but not really slowly. It's just like, it's more achievable. If you're like, I'm going to run a marathon in December, you're going to start thinking that you cannot do that because that seems so long. Like, how am I supposed to run for 4 hours if right now I'm not running at all? It seems impossible. You can go run 20 minutes tomorrow, so that's doable. You can argue that you can plan for just one day, and realistically you do. I think when you plan for the day, you also plan for the rest of the week, because again, if I know on Wednesday I have my day full because I'm hanging out with this friend and I have to do this other thing, I know I'm not going to have the time to go running, so I know I have to go on Tuesday and Thursday, for instance. So just having the week, I feel like is more productive than just having a day, because you're going to plan for the day anyways, you know what I mean? If you plan for the week, it's like, on Monday I'll do this and that, and on Tuesday I'll do this and that. Also, what I said before about readjusting, let's say you plan 3 days a week, 20 minutes, and then last day I'll run 30 minutes, and then you realize that you can't. You get to Saturday and you just run 20 minutes or 25 and you can't run anymore, and you're like, okay, so I know that next week I need to run again 20 or 25 to build that. And also, you can correct mistakes, because if for 2-3 weeks you can only run 20 minutes, you're like, okay, maybe something is wrong, maybe I'm not eating properly, maybe I'm not fueling enough, or I'm feeling too much or the wrong food, or maybe I need to do some strength exercises as well because I don't have the muscles to run for that long, so I need to start applying that to my weekly plan. You can slowly see what's wrong, what's working, what's not. You can readjust. If you just say, in the next 3 months I'm going to run Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and 1 week you can't go those days but you could go other days. If you just have that plan for 3 months, you're probably going to say, oh, then I just not run this week. That's fine, like I still have 3 months. If you plan weekly, you know if that's plausible, because you can say, I cannot skip this week because I know how much progress I lose if I don't run. It's kind of like setting your goals smaller, but realistically you're not making them smaller, because at the end of the day you're going to run that 10k on April and that 42k I think, like that marathon on December. You're going to do that, but for you in your head it's easier to run this week 5k or even less. It's just taking it one step at a time. At some point in the future I'm going to do this big thing, but you don't know how to do it yet, so you have to start smaller. Let's say you want to write a book and you just say, I'm going to write a book in a year. First of all, if you've never written a book, you don't know if that's plausible for you or not, because not everyone takes the same amount of time to write a book. It also depends of the book, obviously. You just want to write a book but you don't have an idea for it. You just feel like you have to write a book because that's just something that we all have to do. Like, you know, those things in life that you have to do, so I have to write a book, and then you sit down and write and you're like, I don't want to do this. If you just set that goal January 1st, and keep saying January 1st, but that's like something we have in our head, like January 1st I have to set goal for the year, and then you don't want to do those goals and you get to January 1st next year or December 31st, whatever, and you're like, damn, I didn't achieve half of this. But then you realize that half of those you didn't want to achieve, but you still feel like a failure. Last year you set those goals. If you just set a goal for this week and you just say, I'm going to sit down and think about what I want to write and think about an idea and this and that, and you do that, but then you realize that you don't want to actually write a book, next week you're going to set a different goal, and that doesn't feel like you failed because you did achieve that week goals. You did sit down and write. You just realize that it's not something that you really desire, so next week you can start a different goal and not not feel like you failed. Precisely because I've been saying January 1st, if you set your goals yearly, I feel like you're going to wait until it's January 1st. If you set your goals weekly, maybe you'll wait until Sunday to start Monday, but that's like so much closer. Even if it's Wednesday, it's like, okay, I'll start Monday. I have these few days to prepare and to plan what I'm going to do next week. I'm talking from experience because today I finished writing a book that I'm really proud of. I'm actually really excited about this. It took me so long to finish it because it was already written, but if you write, you know that you have to go back and read everything again and correct every mistake you have, and this took so long for me. I don't know why. It's like I wouldn't sit down to write even though it's already written, so it was easier, but because I was like, I'll just do it, whatever, next month I will have it done. You just don't do it. If this week I'd say I'm going to sit down an hour every single day, I will finish the book this week. I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Every goals you have, you want to achieve, how you're going to do it, what are your plans, what are your tips to achieve goals in general, and what other videos you want to see from me. And of course, please do subscribe because it's free and you can change your mind anytime. Have a nice week.